Hey, this is Matteo Lane.
I'm Emma Willman.
And this is Inside the Closet.
Inside the Closet.
You have blonde, perfect hair. Like you did.
We are back, and Matteo is complimenting my hair. I want to get this captured.
Yeah, because you put I have horrible hair. It's dry. It's curly. I have a widow's peak. It's falling out.
My hair grows in clumps, though. Like it grows. It is expedited in the back, so it mullets naturally.
I want someone to just give me those plugs for free.
Yeah. What?
But they look really good now. But the thing is, they're $15,000.
Damn.
It's a lot of money, and I'm becoming fearful of wind because I've sculpted my hair now. It's an art piece, you know what I mean? And the wind blows, and it's I have to move my head with the direction of the wind.
How much time do you spend on your hair a day?
Well, normally I sculpt it once and then just kind of comb through it the next 3 days, and then I have to wash it again. But the thing is, when the wind blows and it reveals my hair, I feel like people are pointing at me he's bald! I feel like it's a reveal.
Also, you're not bald.
Yeah, but also I'm not saying it so you say that. I'm saying it's the truth.
Do you get your eyebrows done?
No, I pluck them myself.
Yeah, your eyebrows look good. I'm going to start plucking them myself after the face
You know you're losing
disaster.
your hair when people start complimenting your eyebrows. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're going to twist everything into thinking it's about losing your hair.
It's the same thing.
Do you want to get lunch?
Yeah,
I know I'm losing. Yeah.
But it's the same thing. When someone's setting you up with someone who's really hot, right? Or not hot based on how they describe them. If
sure.
They're what's he like? Well, he's really smart and he's got his own business and blah, blah. Okay.
Fucked up in the face.
Or when they say he's got really great teeth. And I'm like, what? Strong hair. I'm like, is he a horse?
Right.
What are you, racing him?
The teeth are the only thing that are legible from whatever is going on with the face.
But if they're hot, they say, he's so hot. Oh my, that's what they lead with.
He's so hot. He's nice. He's fun. Yeah, hot would be the first one. I've only set one couple up, and I kind of retracted it. I knew these two people that would get along, but one of them I knew was a pretty big cheater, and I was like, you know what? Can't do it in good faith. So I didn't end up setting them up, and then they ended up getting together and being together for a year and a half. So I was onto something with the setup that they got along, and then the cheater one cheated and was shitty. So I was like, I called that whole thing.
I've never cheated.
Yeah.
I've never cheated.
That's good.
I would feel so much guilt if I cheated. And
it's so cowardly to do.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that's cowardly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that I would deal with someone. I don't know how I don't know. I can't even imagine going, because I feel guilty if it's cloudy out.
Right.
If it's cloudy out, I'm like, well, that's my fault.
Yeah,
I did something.
I was talking earlier with someone about transcendental meditation, and the way I pictured.
How did we, what?
Well, you'll see this, because it's about feeling guilt.
Okay.
But so I was picturing it I was like, you have to sit and be transcend. And he was like, no, all these things, it's just all these feelings that come in, guilt or anxiety or whatever it is. It's just trying to be in them and let them go, and then just being in your mind. This is me saying that without knowing that's totally secondhand. And then he also said that you get a special word, and that's supposed to clear your mind.
Mariah.
And then he didn't tell me the word, so I was like, what's the word? What's the word?
I think you pick your own word.
You get to pick your own word.
And I think it sounds pretty stupid. But
I want to know what the word is that people pick.
The Susan Boyle. And I feel like you explaining this to me as the pot calling the kettle black. We're two of the most anxious people I think I've ever met.
Well, what you got to do is you just need to...
you just have to see it and feel it and think it and move it. And it's like, what?
I've been doing yoga, and that actually is pretty cool.
Can I say I hate yoga?
It's so...
God bless people who do
yoga.
It. Okay, we have to stop.
I got to tell you this. So...
It's like a new sandwich at McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's but we've got this now. It's it's the same shit.
It feels
just a different
so good.
Does it?
My sister, I was in Boston this weekend for my niece's first birthday, which I'm so happy that I went to. But my sister, who's avid worker outer, was like, do you want to do yoga class? I was like, sure, I'm pretty beginner. She's like, it's fine. So we go to one. The class was something along the lines of, it was butt blasters, super sculpting butt blast, yoga blast.
Yeah, that's really what the people in India were. That's what the goal was when they started yoga. Was that some middle-aged white woman
hip-hop
could be doing butt yoga?
This was the first class I ever was taught actually by someone who was Indian, and she mentioned that in the class. But then the class went on.
She mentioned she was Indian, or did she have to?
Really looked Indian, and then she said she studied in India.
Okay, but she didn't say she was Indian?
She didn't explicitly say.
Okay, there's a difference.
You're right.
Never assume.
You're right. That's true. And then she proceeded to do butt blast.
Welcome
power
to yoga.
Blast of your butt.
Namaste. Now.
Right. Blast that butt.
Yeah.
Hip hop music.
No.
And literally, and I was looking over at my sister while it was happening, like trying to catch her eye to be like, not beginner, but
Not only not beginner, but also like
but
not yoga.
blasting the. But let me tell
Why
you,
is this word blasting being even near yoga? The only thing you should be blasting is the diarrhea afterwards from like getting everything out of your system.
It was so hard. I can't believe I did. I cannot believe I like did the
That
whole
class
class.
makes it sound like yoga's a colonic.
It was. It didn't have that effect on me, but it was like
Didn't give you massive diarrhea.
whew, I was fully cooked after that.
But you felt better? Like it what?
I felt afterwards. I wanted to ask my sister if that's what labor felt like because it just felt.
My God.
And then I did, and then she was like, "No,
No.
And then I was like, "Well, that was pretty advanced, wasn't it?" And she was like,
You don't need like heroin like put into your spine after that yoga class. There's not another human being coming out of your
"They
stretched
blasted my
vagina.
butt off. My butt was blasted off."
So is that why you're wearing a dress today? Because
Yes.
you don't want to show us your butt
I
literally
have
fell off?
I have no more butt. I wish it was like that, but I did feel like my whole body should be different after that one class.
I just did legs, so now I have a bigger butt.
Do you and Kike? Mm-hmm. Do you guys coordinate your workouts?
Well, I make him do my workouts.
Oh.
But to be fair, he was like, I want to do your workouts.
Oh, that's good. You're definitely more the girl one, I would say.
Me?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, depends. Last
'Cause
night he
when
put
I-
on lipstick.
Really?
Well, because we got that swag bag, and one of it had like makeup in it, and all of a sudden I turn around and goes, Amore, what do you think? Giant red lips.
I would do that too.
And no
Play
offense,
around,
Kike,
yeah.
but you're very manly.
Yes. Hunka burning love.
Do you want to say something?
Kike is he's visiting. He's
He
hanging out.
refuses to
too.
talk. He's just sitting here like,
Looking good. So Matteo and I did Vulture Fest yesterday, and then also today, the Pope came out and said, I didn't read the article. My friend just texted it to me because she texted. Someone said that God says it's okay if you're gay, and I was like, who said that? Like I thought it was like I didn't know who it was, and then the Pope. That's a pretty big deal. You're not impressed by that?
well, no. Because
It's a
like the
big
Catholic
deal.
Church, no, I hate the Catholic Church. They
yeah,
have
the
a lot
Catholic
of catching
Church
up to do.
Of course they do, but this is definitely a step in the right
Yeah,
direction.
but also
this
like
could
if
be
you're
life changing for
if
some
you're a
people.
man in a dress and a gay man asks you if he's going to heaven, you have to reply yes. You can't stand there in a full length ball gown that literally was just seen at the Met Gala and be like, "No, you're going to hell." Like
They've been doing it for years.
Of course, they've been doing it for years. Now they've gotten rid of purgatory.
What's that?
Purgatory was like
I know nothing about the Catholic Church except for what I saw in The Keepers. Let me
Catholic
tell you
Church-
something. Not a good PR thing.
The Catholic Church denounced purgatory, saying, "Oh, it's not real," but it was real to so many people for so many years. Purgatory is a place, quote unquote, in between heaven and hell. So, like, if your soul,
Oh, the DMV.
Yeah, the DMV
Kind of.
it. Yes, the DMV of
But you
of
have to
heaven.
be dead.
Yes, but so like if you're, for example, if your kid wasn't baptized and they died before they were baptized, they were in purgatory. So you were forced to pay the church and like constantly pray in hopes that your child gets into heaven. And then one day they're like, "Oh no, it's just not real."
Oh,
So
man, I would
it's-
be ripped.
It's like
ripped shit.
Yeah, it's like kind of,
Ripped.
it's fucked up to think that so many people spent their entire lives spending all of their money, which meanwhile the church spends no money on taxes, but even poor people pay taxes, but
Right.
the church pays nothing. Then telling people, "Oh, you have to pay X amount of money so that your dead child can get into heaven." And then it's like they sit there and pray and spend all this money, and then one day, "Oh, nope, just doesn't exist."
There's
Well,
no
it
purgatory.
did to some people.
So they.
Well, some priest denounced purgatory or some pope, and it's like, well, you can't do that. You either stick by your ridiculous, stupid
Especially a
rules,
religion
or
that
you
says
don't.
things are so like definitive too. So then it's like, well, maybe it's not definitive. Maybe some of it's open to interpretation if you're able to just say something.
But also, it was a book written like hundreds of years after Jesus died.
Right.
So all of it is stories that are hearsay and written in an ancient Greek language that is no longer spoken.
When did this purgatory banishment happen?
And then, like a couple years ago.
Wow.
And then on top of that, back then when things were written, like 1% or less of the population was literate. They didn't have
Right.
press machines. So if someone's writing the already hearsay story that's been going on for however many years,
it's like
50
me
to 100.
just passing on the transcendental meditation, where I'm like, well, it's like this
Right.
and something, then you get a word.
Now
and
imagine
the person you tell.
Imagine that being copied
Right.
100 times from a copied version, 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 all in an ancient language. Then they just switch the language. So then you're going from another ancient language to another, and then to an English we don't use anymore. So by now, whatever we're reading is not even a thing.
What did your were your parents like into purgatory stuff?
No, I mean, I wasn't like, I grew up Catholic, but we were like Catholic light.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? We were
Right.
like Catholic, like, yeah, we've been to church, but like,
I would want my money back if I had been doing the purgatory. If something
no, that
had
money
happened,
goes straight to the gold throne in the Vatican.
that he has a gold throne.
Have you been to the Vatican?
No, I know nothing about
gold,
Catholicism.
Gold everything.
Really?
The amount
Bling,
of
bling.
artwork and jewels and
How much
like,
does the Pope get paid a year, you think?
I mean, probably nothing, but he's, famous and lives for free and has security and eats well.
I'd do it.
You know what I mean? But it's just ridiculous. I mean, have I gone on a horrible tangent about religion and not
Do you have to get who chooses you to be the Pope? All the mini popes?
all the cardinals get together
And then how do
when
you
a
become
pope
a
either
cardinal?
dies or resigns, like the last pope because he was attached to child molestation.
Right.
And so
Which
they
is
they
unforgivable.
They picked a new pope, and what they do is they all meet together in their dresses in a room, no women allowed, and then they say, "Girls, who's going to be the next pope?" And then white smoke billows from the Vatican, and then they say, "We picked her."
What
And then
happens if they
it's-
disagree?
Well, I mean, I think they vote.
And is it based on? So it's not like the Dalai Lama where they're like looking around at people and then they're like, that is the reincarnation of the one before.
Oh, he recognized that toy.
Yeah.
No, it's the opposite. It's a bunch of men, mostly gay, in dresses who hate gays, and
Right.
pick someone else to lead them to hate the gays.
So it's a lot like
and women.
Washington in a lot of ways.
And everyone. They're just horrible.
And there's no women mini popes.
no,
What are
they're
they
not
called?
allowed
That-
to.
what did
There's
you
no
call them?
cardinals, no priests, no nothing. If you're a woman, the highest thing you can be is a nun.
Oh,
And a nun is basically
I mean, good for the nuns, but the nuns cap out pretty. Like there's a pretty low.
they don't have
ceiling
any
for
real
that.
power.
Right. Did you see The Keepers?
no.
The Keepers on Netflix is this show where you think it's about a murder, but then it uncovers like so much sexual trauma stuff. But when I watched it, I just said to my roommate at the time, I was like, "What should I watch? And what's good to watch?" And she was like, The Keepers. So I didn't know if this was like some like Matt Damon movie. I didn't know what it was. So I just started watching it, and then I was like sucked into a vortex of freaky shit for like 8 hours.
I watched the British Bake Off this morning.
You just love it.
Yeah,
You
but it's
love
been a
the-
while since I'd watched it, so I was like, I need to see British people baking.
You just got to check in.
Just check in. What are they making today? Cake?
Right.
That makes me feel a little better.
I was thinking back because I was really trying to relate with, the person that I was dating after she heard the podcast stuff. And it was really an awakening for me about, boundaries with sharing things. And I had told, Matteo's so good, I think, at only expressing things in terms of what makes, I don't know why I'm talking about you in third person now, but what makes you insecure, what you're feeling, you never say anything where someone needs to be there to defend themselves. And that really made me think, the person I was seeing said, it's just not fair because I'm not there to defend myself. And that's on top of how can someone know what to believe when there was someone who's like, I'm exaggerating things and it's all over the place and then it's like different from our lived experience. Who is going to latch onto that? So it became destructive to my personal life. And I was like, I want to be more like Matteo in terms of saying things that, a part of your private life is like sacred. So I'm going to be better about that moving forward. And I feel bad that the last person I was with was the one that made me learn that lesson. Because I remember the girl in Boston, but I didn't talk about her as much. I was so into the Canadian that I talked about her a lot.
I think you're going through what people like Howard Stern and Artie Lang had gone through
Also-
on the Howard Stern show.
And she was right. You know what I mean? Like I get, but I think, but most of what I would talk about would be like that I liked her, I feel. And then also when I'd be like, no, and then I'd be mad and all this stuff. But
Look, I think when I called you the other day, I was trying to say to you, I think there's a balance. I think you can talk about your personal life and you shouldn't feel bad for having talked about your personal life because even though
I
it
could have had a
didn't work,
little bit more discrepancy.
of course, but what I'm trying to make you see is that even forget her.
I feel bad
No,
that-
forget
yeah.
her. People listening are relating to you and feeling the same thing. So everything you did wasn't done in vain, and it was done for a purpose of bringing entertainment and helping people out there who feel the same feel more connected.
But
so
that would not be worth it to me.
Okay, fair.
If
But
I could go back and change that. Well, I want to say if I could go back and change it, I would, but I don't know if I actually would change it because...
wait, hold on, Emma. What I'm trying to say, because you keep cutting me off.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is I agree with what you're doing, and I support it. What I want you to know is I don't want you to feel totally bad about it.
Right.
that there wasn't total badness about it. And then when you move forward in the future and you want to talk about your personal life, up to you, that there are ways to do it that won't sacrifice your needs and what you need from this podcast.
Right.
And when you go home alone, again, when I've said this to you before, you can't take your listeners home with you. You know what I mean? Like, you need a private
thank God
life.
for all of us.
No, you need a private. Our listeners do really great drawings, by the way.
Oh, they're
Someone just
fantastic.
drew
I'm
that
just saying
picture
you
of me and
guys
I
wouldn't
was
want to come
losing my
home with me,
mind.
and I wouldn't, don't, you know.
But when I'm trying to give you some kind of.
No, totally. Yeah, it's good learning. Too bad it, I think I got spoiled because there was the ex of mine that she didn't listen. But that was like, who wouldn't? And then the girl in Boston that was like super casual. I remember she said, I actually thought this was really romantic. She was like, sometimes it bothers me with the podcast stuff, but I'd still rather be the person you're talking about and getting annoyed about it than not be the one you're talking about. And I was like, oh.
It's also fair for you to say, I also ask Kike and say, can I talk about this?
Oh,
Can
yeah,
I
that's
say
exactly
this?
the right way to do
So
that.
if you're with someone,
Of
although
course,
I
that's
didn't
the
ask
right
about
way.
the wearing the lipstick thing, but
Right.
you know what? That's what you get.
Right. I was thinking back on, there was this person I was with maybe, I think it was like 5 years ago, and her name was Sasha Cohen, still is Sasha Cohen, and she dated Tig Notaro for 5 years. And her and Tig this was like years ago, and her and Tig were still good friends, which is great. So this was the year that I wasn't doing comedy at the time, and Sasha and I met in Boston, and Tig has a podcast. If you Google Sasha Cohen, Tig Notaro, you see Sasha on Tig's podcast. So Sasha gave me a heads up. She's like, oh, I'm going to be on Tig's podcast. I was like, great. That's so cool. You guys are friends. She's like, yeah. And then she's like, you can listen to it if you want. I'm like, okay. Even though I would have listened anyway. But then she was like, just a heads up. We dated for 5 years and, there's nothing there. And Sasha was like, I'm in love with you. There's nothing there with Tig. But just so you know, since we dated for 5 years, we talk like people that know each other extremely well. Noted. Matteo. I listened to it. On the first pass, I was like, Then I listened to it like 3 more times and was like, oh, they're flirting. But like, I was like slowing it down and like playing my friend Genevieve parts. I'm like, don't you think that they're like giggling? That she's doing a lot of giggling. Why didn't she mention she had a girlfriend? And Genevieve was like, because she's talking about U.S. history. Like, where would she have put that in? And at one point they like finished each other's sentences and I was like, motherfucker. And I was so upset about the whole thing when she did nothing. So I wouldn't last 1 second if the situation was reversed. I was so upset.
Well, I think
So upset.
You
Sasha
are
was
a bit of an
crying.
extremist, though, right?
I was upset. Oh, yeah. And then I was like, and I didn't even really want to be in that relationship. Like, and Genevieve was like, what are you? It was like, when I sold educational travel and like it was a mess, but I like got really like competitive with the this other like salesperson. I was like, damn it, she's selling more educational travel trips than me, motherfucker.
I mean, I definitely get jealous, and I think being jealous is innate and is definitely common in our business. Well, because we're always used to being the special one, and then when someone's not, we're wildly threatened.
A lot of times in relationships, actually, people have said that like, I'm super not jealous. Like even when I was with the strippers,
it
that I've been
depends on
with,
how much you care about the person, and it also
Yeah.
depends on the person and how they react to you. So, for example, my ex-boyfriend of years ago, he was also a very insecure, jealous person, and knew that his ex-boyfriend bothered me, and used that as leverage in our relationship.
Ooh.
Whether he wanted to admit it or not, he made sure that relationship with that ex was very special, and that he kept us separated, and that separation kept me in the dark about what he was experiencing
all about
with him.
Communication.
And it drove me insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it drove me insane. So now I'm with a boyfriend who, he's dating multiple people, most of them women, and I'm not threatened by it.
It's good. Yeah.
I'm kidding. He's a good communicator. We always talk to each other.
If someone is communicating with you too, like then it's like, oh yeah, of course, go do literally whatever. If they're just explaining, if you trust the person.
But sometimes I get needy. So sometimes I get to the point where like I need the reassurance.
Sure.
Whether it's as ridiculous as that sounds, I need the reassurance for you to tell me I love you. We're together.
Right.
That's who I am.
I think that's I think that's like pretty normal.
But also, yeah, I also have talked about stuff. Listen, this is no spring chicken here. I've talked about stuff on this podcast that I'm sure I will regret, that someone will pull and be like, you said this. And I'll have to be like, yeah, I probably did.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if I said that. And they're like, Exhibit A. And then
Right.
it's like playing your voice. And be like, it's just someone that sounds like me.
In
and then
court,
you're like,
I
and
go
my
to
name's
jail.
Matteo Lane. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Matteo Lane, and I said I hate beep. The list goes on and on and on. But yeah, so I think, lesson learned, and then moving on.
Lesson learned, moving forward, and I got to improve my table manners.
Watch
Here we
all
are.
the listeners stop listening.
Yeah,
They're
right.
like, how dare Emma have a life? And that's it. It's done.
Yeah, just trying to take steps in a positive direction. But I've been like, I felt like
You seem good.
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, not drinking has been good. Not drinking is good. And then
How long have you not
exercising.
been drinking for?
I think it's like 20 days now.
That's really good.
But something that's nicer this time around is I'm not just thinking of it like, I'm not going to drink. It's more like I'm going to try to like my life more. And then naturally, I don't want to like pollute my body as much.
Yeah, I went drinking to some like queer dance thing this weekend.
Tell me everything about that. See, this is something that's so good because I think since your boyfriend is here, now you're going to be doing more fun things that because you wouldn't have done that on your own.
Yeah, but I don't know fun things to do.
That's
like,
why he brought you to that, and you did that.
I know, but I feel like an idiot because he'll be like, oh, well, where do you go dancing? And I'm like, I don't.
Oh.
Well, where do you go to eat? I don't. Like, all I do is comedy.
I know.
And I've built 6 years of living here, like, just comedy. And then he's like, what are we going to do for fun? I'm like, yeah. I'm like
Right. What's
panicking
this
in my
language?
head. I'm like, I got 3 restaurants. Isn't that a New York thing, though, to have 3 restaurants you go to and that's it? And you hate everything else?
I remember I'd first started seeing someone, and I had a show in Philadelphia, which, as a side note, the show in Philadelphia was at an ice cream parlor, and they like snuck open it. Some of the employees like allowed it to be open, the upstairs open like at night, and would do a comedy show, and you could bring your own beer and wine, and then they'd sell you ice cream. And I remember, and they paid you an ice cream, but it was like only soft serve. Because I remember being like, "Oh, I'll get this one," and they're like, "No, that's hard serve." And I was like, "Oh," and I was like, "I'm performing," and they were like, "Yeah, you guys just get soft serve." And I was like, "Okay, someday I got to work myself up to
to
hard serve." But when I brought a date came with me, which how I pulled off having this girlfriend at that time, woof, that's a real testament to the hustle. I'll tell you that shit. But she goes, okay, we're going to Philly. Like, I have some friends in the area. Like, then we could go out. Like, what do you do after we go out afterwards? Do it for fun. I had like a panic attack. I called Robin, who's been on the show, and was like, what? She wants to go do something fun after the show? Like, no, I got to go sit and think in a dark room. What do you, fun? Like, what are you, crazy? But I knew I couldn't say that. I was like, I have to think. I have to fester. So
I know, to me, fun is work.
Yeah. And recently I've been watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
You said that last time. And
It's
the time
true.
before.
It's really fun. It's so good. It's a really good show.
But what does any of this have to do?
But that's fun.
That's fun to you. Yeah, fun to me is like
and the chiropractor.
Like diner. Oh, we needed a good chiropractor.
Oh, I got a guy.
How much?
Dr. Will, $30 a time. He gives me a deal. Yeah.
We'd like to go. Where is
yeah.
he?
Midtown, $290.
Yeah.
And I guess now everybody knows. Yeah.
Will you send me his?
I don't know if he
everything?
is giving me a deal because my insurance isn't great, and now you guys all know that. But
I don't
this
have
guy
insurance.
he's absolutely awesome, and this is something else. I've been seeing him for a long time, so he like follows my career stuff and will like text me about like career stuff. Like he was watching Crazy Ex.
Is he
like,
Russian?
No. He would
Okay.
text me about Crazy Ex, and he said before, like randomly, he'll be like, "I think you're gonna make it." I'm like, "Thanks, Dr. Will."
What does he do?
He's a chiropractor.
Yeah, but what do they do? I've never been to one.
Oh my god, Matteo.
What? I've never been to one. I need one. My back is in a lot of
It's a slippery
pain.
slope because once you go, then you never want to not get adjusted. I tell him, I go, Dr. Will, this is a highlight of my life, and he said, that's so sad. You seem like a really nice person. I don't
Does
know.
he crack your whole back?
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know how to crack my back.
But because you're not a chiropractor. I mean, some people think they're quacks, but I think they're angels.
I want to go to him.
It's the best feeling in the world. Truly.
And I don't
it's
like
such a
smoke or
release.
drink or anything, so I feel like going to the chiropractor is not so bad.
But
that's
does
my
your back
rationale for
hurt?
everything. Yes.
Okay. You gotta go.
Well, it hurts a lot. I've had a lot of knee replacements.
Oh, I can't imagine how bad her back is.
Well, when I was dancing, I remember I did my mother's show, and my godmother, Kay Thompson, I did her show at the Palladium, and we really brought it home. But I had just had knee surgery, and so the whole time I was being hung up by strings. And so if you really watch videos, I look terrible and I sound terrible, but people came.
I'm so glad.
That's really fun.
What happened when you guys went to the dance, like, afterwards? Like,
Well, first I had someone carry me up the stairs. And I said, I had my hip replaced. I'm a tin man from the waist down. And they brought me up the stairs, and it was a Chinese restaurant.
oh boy.
And so I sat down, I had dim sum, and there were...
Wait, what did you have?
Men, dim sum. And there were men dressed as women dancing all around me. And I remember Backstreet Boys.
Oh.
They're so fun. They're really so funny.
So fun.
They are so funny. People don't know this about NSYNC, but they are really funny.
I believe it.
Can I tell you all that's true besides Liza? It was in a Chinese restaurant, and it
the
was
dance
like
club. How did you guys find out about this?
just through friends.
So you just were like, okay, guys, like
I had to ask my gay friends. I was like, "What the fuck do I do?" And they're like, "Just come with."
So you're like, my boyfriend's in town. He wants to have fun.
Yes, I'm desperate. Help.
Right.
And
Help me seem like a well-rounded person.
He doesn't want to watch me play Zelda anymore.
Right.
So we went to this Chinese place, and it was awesome because it was like a queer dance club. But a couple things happened. Number one, you walk in and they're playing the best music. It's Backstreet Boys, Britney, Christina.
Love.
Fabulous. Something strange happened to me. Two things. One, I had multiple people filming me and then putting it on their Instagram and then not telling me. So I'm being tagged in other people's Instagram as Matteo Lane is dancing.
Oh, that's great.
No, but I look bad when I dance. It's embarrassing.
Wait, that's so great that they recognized you.
Yeah, but it's embarrassing. I got recognized in the bathroom. It was
that's
weird.
that's so great. Did they say where they recognized you from?
I was peeing and I said something funny and this guy goes, "Are you trying a new bit out on us?"
Hey, go fuck yourself, fuckface. I was just trying to pee and be friendly.
I know. I was trying to be nice.
Fuck
like, fuck you. And then I was sitting at a table and some group of gays, like 4 mean gays, started throwing limes at me.
Wait a minute.
And so,
are you kidding me?
No, dead serious. And I said, "Why are you throwing limes at me?" And they're like, "Nah." That was literally the response. And then one guy came over. He's like, "I'm so sorry about my friends. You say he's just drunk and he's just throwing limes at everyone." And I was like, "Cool." And I went up and sat down. I was like, "What are you in 6th fucking grade? What are we in the goddamn lunchroom? As if you weren't like all of us and you were tortured as fuck when you were a kid. What the fuck are you trying to be?
Oh,
we're all here. We're all
Mateo's
gay.
big
we're
night
all
out.
trying to have a good fucking time, and you're sitting here trying to act like you're a fucking mean girl." And then he was like, "Sorry." And then one of them offered me a cigarette, and I was like, "Forgiven."
How did he throw the lime? Was it an overhand or
Picked
underhand?
up the lime, overhand, threw it at me.
He's
twice. Twice. And he was from Germany. And so he's like, "I'm from
He needs to
Germany."
get
I'm like,
kicked
"Du
out.
bist ein Scheißkopf." I was just yelling at him in German. But then we sat and chatted.
If someone threw
But I
a lime,
wasn't mad. I was like, here's the thing. All gay kids, we were all tortured for the
Sure.
most part. You know what I mean? Like,
doesn't mean you need to turn into a lime thrower.
but the thing is, gays get together and we dress up and we put on fun outfits and we put on makeup.
Was everyone
and we,
super
And we
dressed up?
pretend that we didn't go through some deep shit trauma
Right.
growing up.
You gotta
And we
dance it out.
pretend everything's fine. Everything's not fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, why are you sitting here? Like, I went through just as much shit as you went through. So you're going to throw a lime at me? What are you, the jock of the school? Meanwhile, he looked like Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. So I went over and I was like,
not cute.
I let up. It's not that he's not cute. It's that he looked like a goddamn candlestick. So, I was mad about it. I was really mad about it because I was like, I'm here with my boyfriend and my friend. I'm trying to have a good time. And even this place, you're going to let me have it, you son of a bitch.
Where did the lime hit you? I'm just trying to picture
On
it.
the head and then on the chest.
Ooh, motherfucker.
And I was like, you know what? And it's like...
Yeah, I'm gonna make limeade out of your fucking
Let me just say
torso.
this, though. It was so gay. Like, if that happened to the Jersey Shore, police would have been called, blood would have been shed. And I walked out, I was like, how dare you? This is like the 6th grade, you son of a bitch! You know what I mean?
Safe
son of a
space.
bitch! Yeah.
And then he apologized?
His friends did, but not him. He's German. And you know how the Germans are. They're all pieces of shit.
I'm German.
There you go.
Right.
Only
like
case
a
in
tiny
point, you
smidge.
just apologized.
Right. Just a smidge. What a dirtbag.
No, not all Germans are terrible, but they are. And the thing is like, he just was so... He literally kept saying to me over and over, like, "But I'm German." I was
I
like,
don't even know what
who
he's trying to say.
cares?
Is he trying to say, like, so this isn't, like, the worst thing I could do? It'd be like, yeah, I mean,
But I
relative
said
to
to
the
him-
Holocaust, this isn't so bad, but you're still being a fucking dickbag.
No, Germans aren't... We should probably take out the German part. Although we have...
No, he was being...
We have 2 Jews in there who are like, "No, keep it."
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, is, he said to me, too, I was like, "What do you think, you're a mean girl?" And his response was, "I am." And I was like, "Oh, she's young and she feels like she's being tough and she's probably high."
But to throw a lime?
I know.
Why? And did your boyfriend, were you going to fight him?
Oh, no, he sat there chatting away with my other
Really?
friend about a porn star that one of them hooked up with. Not you, the other one.
I think if someone threw
Austin
something at a
Wolf or
girlfriend, I'd have
something?
to
The porn
do
star.
something.
Not you, the other one.
And then you danced and like had a good time, and like, do you feel like you were like?
Yeah, I danced and had a good time. You know what I mean? But then it was like 4 a.m. and I was like, okay, I need to go get like a pierogi and go home. And then Kiki is like, what the night just started. I was like, it's New York. We're tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we went and got food, and then we went home.
Nice.
Then went to the gym the next day.
And you know what? Dancing's great exercise.
Yeah.
I couldn't even
Did you
imagine.
talk and say what you're gonna say?
I couldn't-
He's sitting here like.
I couldn't even imagine if. Yeah, I would wonder what would happen if if some girl wanted to go out dancing after a show.
I had fun and I would do it again. It's just I
That's,
feel
like,
guilty
so
because I
foreign
don't know
to
what
me.
to do. And to me, I did an MTV show and I got to bring key canes as a backstage and hair
That's
and makeup.
fun.
Like to me, I was like, oh, this will be really interesting and fun because it's so different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like maybe it's fun for me.
Also, it's fun for you, but you're also like working the whole time
Right.
too. So it's like not like the same. You're not getting to have like an intimate
I
moment.
know. A lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't seem like work. And it's like, no, this is work.
Yeah, you got to be like.
It's not
on
easy
and
to
paying
get on
attention.
TV, zero rehearsal, and start chit-chatting with celebrities like they're normal people.
Right.
I met Liam Payne. I think I said that the last time.
Did you from One Direction?
Did I say that
yeah,
in the last episode?
Yeah,
the
you
One
did.
Direction guy. Literally fit in my pocket.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's so great. I think it's awesome that you went out and like did something fun and healthy.
I sound ridiculous. You and I sound like a divorced old
Oh.
couple. Like, I did something fun.
No, yeah. I mean, like, maybe I'll. Should I try to go do something fun by myself? I mean, I could have Gail could do it.
I love Gail.
I'm doing something fun. Get this.
Whitewater rafting.
No, could you imagine if I said that and tried to sell it on you guys? To be like, really? I messed up my schedule, and I had my friend Julie. I messed up my schedule, and she was supposed to come with me to a comedy thing, and we booked the tickets way a long time ago, and then I messed up schedule. I'm not even performing there this weekend, but we're already going, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take these 4 days off, and Julie and I are going to go and just like hang out and like have a vacation. So we're going to do
Viva
that for fun.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, but Julie's a little bit like I don't know me like us. I don't know if I don't know what. Well, we're gonna go to a steam room. I find that
it.
fun. That's fun.
Bang it.
Steaming. Maybe we should go out dancing. She's straight and I'm gay though. So what kind of
That's
club?
easy. That happens all the time.
Right.
Should we go to a steam room?
I love
Or does that just turn into sex?
hand jobs.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's all.
But yeah, maybe we'll go out dancing.
Go dancing.
I haven't gone dancing in years.
I suggest to go to Old Vegas, downtown Vegas. It's much more fun. The
Yeah?
strip is not where it's happening. The strip is like
Just fakeness.
stupid. Yeah, go to downtown. It's real people. It's locals. It's drinking. It's
There's so many good
screaming
deals
and yelling. And,
too.
it's so
like
fun.
Groupon. I was like looking around at stuff and I was like, oh, this is like absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I would go to Old Vegas.
Yeah, so that's something fun I'm doing. I'm gonna have to do a little vacation. But I do feel like I have fun. It just sounds weird when I like say it to like normal people.
By the way, I didn't realize how many people in New York go to the Cellar. I've been recognized multiple times now. People
I
are
have
like,
too.
I've seen you at the Cellar.
Yep. I
saw you at the Cellar.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But I guess when you do 6 shows in a night, you're bound to be recognized by somebody.
But New York's a big city. Like there was one time I was walking down the street and I was having such a bad day, and this guy was passing me and he was like, "Hey, you were so funny last night. Like, keep it up." And I was like, "Thank you so much. I'm having an awful day." And he was like, "You're great." And I was like, "Thank you." Then I ran into him again when I was having a really bad day at Eastville Comedy Club, which is now no more. But I remember I was on stage being like, I'm having a fucking brutal day. And then afterwards that guy came up and he was like, "Hey, I'm the one that saw you in the street. I saw you were here, so I came." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not always having a bad day, but the 18 times that we've run into each other, I've been complaining about it." But yeah, it's always nice. I got recognized at Newark Airport, but it happened right after I had been recognized for being at the Cellar. Someone was like, "Saw you at the Cellar, blah, 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 great." Then I was at Newark Airport and someone was like, "I know you." And I was like, "Yeah, this thing it was the Cellar." And he was like, "You were here last week." And I was like, "Oh."
I get recognized from Guy Code a lot at the airport from like the TSA, but they'll always be like, "Why do I know you from somewhere?"
They all watch Guy Code?
Guy Code, Girl Code.
That feels like forever ago. I remember when
It's
those
still
shows
happening
came
on
out.
Snapchat.
Really? I remember when those shows came out, that changed everything for quite a few people that we know. Like,
Except me.
Well, you
I was
came on the
season
last
4.
season.
No,
yeah.
I was on the last 3 seasons.
You were on the last 3 seasons?
Uh-huh. Just not the first 2.
Wow. I didn't even realize that.
First gay.
What do you have? What do you have stuff coming up?
Well, we're doing July 2nd in Philly.
July 2nd in Philly. That's going to be fun.
Oh, we should keep promoting that. July
Yeah,
2nd,
July
we're
2nd
doing an
Philly.
Inside the Closet show.
Yeah.
So if you live in Philly, come.
Come out. We're going to have a good time. We're going to maybe should we get cheesesteaks?
Yes.
Okay.
And so please let us know where the best ones are, because there's a big debate. And then
Gail will be there.
Gail will be there. Then we're going jet skiing the next day.
Yes. Our intern Tyler is going to come.
Yes.
And Tyler's single. I don't know what kind of guys Tyler likes, but...
Yeah, Tyler, what kind of guys do you like? Oh, she's getting real quiet over there. And then... what
kind of guys do you think Tyler likes? Big? I don't know. Cute.
Do you not want us talking about this?
Cute one? Cute. Like, cute ones?
Nice boys.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at him to see if we can...
Tyler's face is red.
Okay, all right. But so we'll be there.
Netflix specials come out
Yeah, which will
later
be a good...
this summer.
I'll pull up a couple questions. I know we got some questions.
Yes.
Let's see.
Oh, and follow my comic book on Instagram. I have a comic book called Princess Cupcake, and I've been working on it for years. And if you want to follow it, it's at P Cupcake Warrior. It's linked to my Instagram profile. All right, we got some questions.
Here's the question. Emma and Matteo. Hello, my name is... And I am a new listener to the podcast, although I've listened to almost every episode in the last week or so, in the car, while I'm working out, while I'm cooking dinner, etc. In all honesty, I saw Matteo and Sibling Rivalry and Thirst listen to the podcast because I was swooning. Then who would have guessed I listened and fell for Emma as well? Unfortunately, I'm not a bottom, so I don't think she would go for it. No, I don't know what's up or down anymore. Mm-hmm. That's besides the point. I'm a recent college graduate and spent the majority of my collegiate career being the funny but average-looking gay kid. I get you, man. I often find myself being territorial of the gay spotlight and would tear down other men who tried to take that spotlight from me. Now that I'm out of college and trying to find my next path in life, I want to be more open to having a network of gay friends. So I guess what I'm asking is, how do you become friends with other gays without pulling in the drama or hating them? Thanks for taking the time to read this and answering if you can. Much love from a new listener.
I would say you have to find friends who are going to lift you up and friends that you don't feel competitive with.
Yeah, that's really a question about your relationship with yourself, too. Because, like, whenever you're, like, feeling like you need to, like, tear other people down or whatever it is, that's just purely, like, an unrest with, like, you and what you're up to.
Like, when I first moved to New York, I found this group of gays that I hung out with, but I quickly realized that these gays were more concerned about, like, the scene and
Are you
how
more
they're
likely to get
seen
competitive
and-
with a gay person?
No. I mean,
I actually will
but-
be sometimes.
But when I found my crew, which is Bob, Patty, Alfredo, and Taylor, that was the first gay group that I've had that were in New York that I found that I wasn't competitive with. We all supported each other
And
in
you
our
guys are in
endeavors.
complementary industries too, because the only time I ever begin to get competitive is just like when I'm like, oh my god, like there's, you know, I know the business is homophobic, and I'll be like, well, okay, how many slots are there for the amount of people, or how'd they get that? And I'll only feel that sometimes if it's another like gay person, but then at the end of the day, I'm able to totally talk myself out of that and be like,
Well,
you know what,
someone-
it's just we're only competing with ourselves, and the more people that get uplifted and exposure, then more power to it.
Someone said to me the other day who's gay, oh, well, you know, we, gay men usually find friends that they want to fuck. And I thought, that's not true for everybody.
Right,
That's
yeah,
not true for me. So, you know, I think it's like he said, if he feels like he's tearing everyone down, he doesn't want to share the spotlight, search why. Think why.
Yeah, think why,
Normally
and also
it's
take a good look
insecurity.
at take a real look at yourself and be like, why?
And it's good he recognizes
Yes,
that.
totally.
And you'll realize that you'll find much more enjoyment in life when you do share the spotlight.
And then also one thing I found, like there will be certain people where I think Gail and I talked about this too, where it's like where if it's like a little bit like more masculine leaning one, it's almost like they like, you know, like the one that took my chicken wing. Remember, you guys remember that?
Yes.
So I feel like I know I told this on this other thing I did, but did I tell that story on here?
Yeah.
Okay. I probably mentioned it a bunch of times. But yeah, this person's a little more butch than I am. Took a chicken wing. Obviously, I would have given him a chicken wing, but I was eating buffalo wings, and they came over and were like, yo, I'm taking a wing. And I was like, okay, but I felt, you know.
In the paper the next day, lesbian bar burned down, chicken wing.
But the other thing was I took it, and then they also did a couple other things like that. You know, they were like they topped me in the whole thing. I was like, all right, motherfucker, fine.
Yeah, I just feel like...
But that's on them. They're,
and
you know what I mean?
And I feel like if there's a need to put others down, which I have that all the time. I mean, we're all healing. We're all a work in progress. Gay men especially, we are all healing. We have to be nicer to each other, more forgiving of each other, because, again, we've been through so much trauma growing up. It's an experience that we all share.
Yeah,
so I feel like
mean,
it's fair for us to only relate to people based off that and start a relationship based off love rather than I'm the funnier one, or you're an accessory to me, or you're not allowed to have the spotlight.
Or there's only room for one of us.
Which is a weird...
That's where I think a lot of times people think something comes from, where it's like, oh, there's only room for one of us, so I'm, instead of like looking at the overall system, I'm just going to look at the one other person that's also being hurt by it and tear them down so I can get in where I fit in. And then also, you know, there's so many like intersectionalities with like privilege too, like that. Yeah, it's like a whole complicated thing, which is always important to.
So interesting question, and thanks for listening to the show.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you guys so much for the people that are Patreon. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I took some videos last night that we're going to be uploading, and we're going to start.
We just took a video today.
Yeah, and we're going to record. We're going to get it up and cranking. So thank you to the early subscribers, because just we're going to be getting that content out soon, and also we're going to be getting some lighting, because we're going to start recording the podcast for people to listen to Patreon, so you can see the visual of it. But
which means you're going to have to sit here, and I sit here with the light there.
Yeah, live in the studio with us. But we wanted to get professional quality lighting, so that's what the holdup is. We're like, one, good lighting. That was Matteo's idea, by the way, because
are you out of your fucking
I would
mind?
have
I'm gonna have everyone look at us at this lighting.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
this
sure.
light will be off. The circle light will be on. It's gonna be great.
Are you gonna get all dressed up and be like, oh, I'm always like this?
No. But I mean, when I did Monet and Bob's podcast, they did that, and I looked at it and it looked good. It was really good lighting.
Oh, good.
So I was like, we'll just do the same thing.
All right, you want to do one more question?
Yes.
Okay, so this person said, I have a question. We all have friends, right? And there are friends' friends. How do you handle those who you don't like? Someone's good friend doesn't mean that you like him, her. Sometimes I would be thinking maybe I should just form my own squad of friends. Only those who I handpicked can join this community. But that sounds like a horrible idea, because then how do I make sure they all like each other as well?
Kike, would you like to answer this question?
I don't understand the question.
Okay. I don't know if I really understand the question either.
I think the person's trying to say, how do you form a good group of friends? I mean, there's always going to be someone you connect with less or bothers you more. You know what I mean? Always. I had this like friend group in college where we would like always meet for like, we would get dinner like once a week. And then there was one girl that I remember some of the other girls were like, we really don't like her. Like, she's going to be out. And then I remember we had this like sit down, and they were basically like, we don't want to hang out with you anymore. And I felt so awful about it. Because it was like, we're adults. Like, we should just, or I don't know what the right way to handle that was. But then that friend group, we all just like disbanded and none of us.
I actually have a theory. I think a lot of people, when they leave high school, they leave with the mentality that those they were friends with, it's like a locker thing mentality. Well, we're in the same class, so I might as well stay friends with them. But part of the best part about being an adult is having a newfound freedom where you can choose the people that you want in your life. And there are people who will suck up that energy and feed you only with toxicity.
And what you have in common with people changes and grows and modifies.
Of course.
Too.
Yeah. And sometimes you outgrow people. The
right,
same way
which
you
is always
outgrow a job and you outgrow.
And that's a weird realization, too, because there's some friends that I've had for like a long time where it's like, maybe if we met today, who knows if we would have been friends. But there's some of my like dearest friends. And then that core of the person is, you know, that's like what your close friend is. And that can be some of the best friends.
So I think you can always tell yourself, reevaluate why this person's in your life and say, okay, am I friends with this person because I feel I have to be, or because I want them to be?
And if don't try to control the whole thing.
Yeah, and you feel like they have to be because of some obligation, then you can take a step back. I've had a few friendships last year where I was like, is this person in my life because I want them in my life, or because I feel I need them in my life?
Right.
And when I realized that I didn't want them in my life because they were making me feel bad about myself, I took a step back.
Right.
And it was a great healing thing for me, because it was like, oh yeah, I'm in control of my life, and I'm in control of how other people, I'm going to let them affect the way I feel. And if someone's continuously making me feel bad about myself, I'm not putting myself in that position.
Yeah, friendships are a relationship too.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, thank you guys so much. And also, check out our Patreon page. We're getting it cranking with the stuff. Thank you to our, I keep wanting to say prescribers. Thank you to our subscribers. And June 2nd, we'll be in Philly at the Good Comedy Theater at 8:30 p.m. Hope to see you guys there.
Bye.